SolidWorks Enterprise PDM 2014 continues to add new and exciting functionality to streamline your design process and ensure that you're always working with the most up-to-date information. First, new options have been added for users and groups to keep local cache up to date. These options allow you to clear the cache on logout and refresh the cache on login. These settings are folder specific and work recursively into subfolders. This is important for users who have certain templates or library items that need to always be at the latest revision, or for administrators who need to make sure that users who are not attached to the network do not have sensitive files on their computer. A new checkbox has been added to the reference node in the settings dialog called Enable the Get Version command in SolidWorks Add-in. This allows users who choose the setting to always work with latest the ability to do a get version when working in SolidWorks. This is important because they want to ensure that any files that are checked out are referencing the latest versions, but want to have get access to older versions for reference or comparison. Let's log into the Vault. Notice that upon login, Enterprise PDM is updating the cache with the latest versions of the files that are in the folders that we selected, keeping everything up to date for me. Let's take a look at the Contains tab for this assembly. Now in Enterprise PDM 2014, we can customize the display of columns in the Contains tab, the Where Used tab, Copy Tree, and the Checkout and Check-in dialogues. Let's add the Description column to the Contains tab and move it toward the left. This is important, especially when people use numbers for their file naming convention. They'll now have access to more descriptive information. You also have the ability to collapse and uncollapse components in the tree, as well as a tool to show top level or show all levels in the assembly. Now this assembly is already open in SolidWorks, but you can see in the Checkout dialog we have the same ability to add columns and access to expand and collapse the assembly. But new is the ability to show reference selection controls, or otherwise known as parent node checkboxes. These allow easy access to checkout or get a parent and all of its children. We now have the ability to easily see warnings that may be presented. If there are no warnings, these don't show up. They even traverse into collapsed subassemblies to show warnings as well. With very large assemblies, these tools can be very helpful to find any warnings that may exist. Since we have this assembly already open in SolidWorks, we see lots of warnings. So let's take a look at some of the new things in the SolidWorks add-in. First, the first thing you may notice in the task pane is a new column for reference version. This column lets us know what version of the file was referenced in an assembly when it was checked in. As I dig down into this subassembly, you can see that I'm working with the latest version of this file, but when the assembly was originally checked in, this file was at version 1. The information in the reference version column gives me this feedback. The child quick info also points me to this older reference version. Since this is referencing an older version, I may want to use the get command to see the older version of the file. As expected, we get warnings that the file is not using the latest, and with the child quick info, I get the indication that I'm using an older file. And this warning goes all the way up the tree, no matter how deep in the structure it is.